Peace, peace, peace. What's good? What's good? I want to share something about us putting pressure on things happening a certain way, putting pressure on things happening a certain time frame, putting pressure on others to act a certain way, to say certain things, to be a certain way, putting pressure on life to give us certain results during a certain time, putting pressure on ourselves to I don't know, so many things that we put pressure on. The more that we're putting pressure on things with setting expectations for them, the more that they just drift away. The more they drift themselves away, it's like I'm picturing a boat just going further and further away because we want it so badly to come towards us now. But the waves and the current is going a different direction. And it's so funny that once we decide to let go of things and let things flow naturally and let things show up as they're meant to and let things play out on their own timing and allow others to be as they want to be with no expectations, everything shifts. Everything shifts. We remove the pressure and things begin to flow. I mean, things are going to flow how they're going to flow regardless of it. But when we release the pressure and the expectations and the control of things, we're able to be more at peace. We're able to be at peace with if it doesn't happen, I'm at peace. If it happens, I'm at peace. If it goes a certain way, I'm at peace. If it doesn't, I'm still at peace. If someone acts a certain way, I'm cool. I'm at peace. And if they don't, I'm at peace. And it really reflects when you're in that energy to others, because I say this from every time I speak anything, I'm speaking from my own personal experience too. I know that I have been in that energy before where I wanted to control everything that I could. I had so many expectations, and sometimes I'm still working on that with not having expectations for others, not projecting my expectations for my own self onto others. It's still a growing phase for me. But I know that I've in the past been in an energy where like even in relationships, I was in a relationship one time where I really self-reflected and realized how if if they didn't arrive at home at a certain time, I would already be getting frustrated or getting just taking myself out of the present moment because I was calculating the time that we would have before the day ended, before a new day started and we had to go to work and we had to separate again. And by me doing that and having all of this control, trying to control the time, calculating the time, trying to just having so many expectations for this person to be a certain way, to do certain things, to to treat me in a certain way, I pulled I pulled that person away even more because they felt all of this controlling energy from me. They felt all of this, like, possessive is what wants to come out. And I can be honest and say it was definitely probably some possessive energy. I was possessing over the time. I was possessing over how that person acted. I was possessing over every little word that person would say. I was possessing over how I thought that they should be, how I thought that they should respond with others. And instead of just allowing them to be how they wanted to be, allowing them to, if they wanted to show up at whatever time at home, allow that and just accept it and receive it for what it is, because that would have also allowed me to realize a lot sooner that that person, or maybe they did want to be with me and share this quality time with me. But because I was so resistant and because I put so much pressure on this person, it pulled them away to not want to be with me or to not want to spend this quality time with me, because I was carrying this energy of controlling, trying to control and nitpick everything. It's like at the same time, because when we allow everything to unfold how it's meant to, and when we allow everyone to be how they want to be, it reveals to us what's for us and what's not for us, who's for us and who's not for us. Now I'm way more so in that energy of let people be how they want to be, and that's going to show me if they're for me or if they're not. And it doesn't, I'm not even talking romantically, and even friendship wise, even business wise, or just with everything in general. And I accept them for what they choose to be, and that's how I choose to either move forward with them or keep my distance or whatever it is. So, like, for example, me in the relationship in the past, had I just let that person be how they wanted, who they wanted, however they wanted, I would have allowed myself to pick up a lot sooner whether that person was for me or not, because people show us who they are. It's just a matter if you were going to accept it or not. It's like what they say. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. When somebody tells you what they want, accept it. Don't try to change it. Don't try to think that you're going to be this one odd person out that can change this person's mind or whatever it is. Because at the end of the day, everything's going to be how it's meant to be, regardless. Whether you try to control it, whether you try to manipulate it, whether you try to possess over all the fine details or have these crazy expectations, it's going to be what it's going to be, regardless. But at the same time, when we're in that energy, we attract these lessons, we attract these things because we're telling the universe, I'm in this energy and I need you to show me where I can grow. And so the universe will definitely show you how you can grow, what areas you can improve in. And like for me, this relationship that I have in my mind, it was showing me these areas that I was lacking giving my own self peace, my own self ease, my own self acceptance, my own self releasing the control of everything, and my own self love. Because it also ties to everything is connected to self-love. Everything is connected to self-love. Me thinking that this person had to be a certain way or had to do certain things or had to show up for me a certain way was a direct projection of how I wasn't showing up for myself, of how I wasn't um, acting for my own self, of all these expectations I wasn't meeting within my own self, and all this love that I was lacking to give to myself. When we love ourselves, we don't place ourselves in situations or create experiences that are going to be detrimental to our peace and our sanity and our calm and our ease. Because somebody who loves themselves truly knows their value, they know their worth, they know that nobody has to act a certain way for me to feel validated, for me to feel loved, for me to feel that I am worthy, for me to feel that I am accepted in whatever way. Because we've given that to ourselves already, because we stand true and we stand tall and we stand firm and grounded in who we know we are. And if somebody else can't acknowledge that it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect you. It doesn't affect you in any way. And I know I can attest to it now that I have grown so much in loving myself, where if somebody has an opinion about me, it doesn't mean anything to me, because one, I know that they're just projecting. Two, I don't need anybody to tell me how to feel about me or that can tell me something about my own self if I'm in tune with who I am. And it also is just another way of the universe showing you if there's an area that you have truly embodied that self-love, or if you can grow more in that area of embodying that self-love. And so I think about how most people are in a tug of war with things, tugging at things, thinking that the more they tug, at some point maybe they'll be able to receive this thing that they're wanting. Either it's a person, or either it's an action from a person, or either it's a thing, or whatever it is. But the thing is that we shouldn't be playing tug of war with anything. When we realize that the two people at the end of the ropes is ourself, and we're actually fighting a battle against ourselves, we realize that there's nobody to blame for anything, because you're the only one that's at war with yourself. It's kind of like how they say too, you're either your greatest, or I don't know if they say it or not, but it's kind of something like you're either your greatest enemy or you're either your worst enemy or you're your greatest cheerleader. Because there isn't anyone who can truly understand, can truly understand and overstand your accomplishments, your, and I'm not even talking about these big accomplishments. I'm even talking about um, sitting with your emotions. If you sit with your emotions and you feel those emotions out and you come out feeling peace afterwards, that's a huge accomplishment. Nobody knows all those moments that you sit with yourself. Nobody knows all those battles that you have of tug of war in your own mind, and then you decide to let go. That's a huge accomplishment within everything right there. But nobody knows that but you. Nobody knows every single thing that you have experienced throughout your entire human existence in this life but you. Nobody was there every single time you cried. Nobody was there every single time you were super sad and you some way somehow lifted up your spirit and lifted up your energy. Nobody knows all those times that you just didn't want to get out of bed and you really just wished that it was a huge nightmare and you were about to wake up and you still decided to push forward and get up anyway, even if it took you hours to do so or until the next day to do so. Nobody knows that but you. So you're either your greatest cheerleader or you're your own worst enemy that is making life harder for your own self. It has nothing to do with anybody else other than when it means other people, things, experiences in general. When they're placed in our lives, these characters are placed in our lives to show us if we're being our greatest cheerleader or to show us that we're being an enemy to our own selves. Nobody's judging you but you. That's something that I really needed to really remind myself for a long time because I always felt judged until I realized, like, Cindy, you're judging yourself, and that's why you're projecting that judgment from others. You're only projecting it. And if you don't want people to judge you, don't judge yourself. We can be our we can be our worst critics or we can be our greatest admirers or our greatest motivators or our greatest inspiration. Everything is a mirror. If somebody's judging you, look into that mirror and realize that it's a reflection of you when you are continuously or when you have judged your own self. When we begin to realize that everything that we're seeing is a direct reflection of ourselves in some way or another, either in ways that it's showing us of, again, ways that we can improve, ways that we can grow, things that we haven't let go of, things that we're still holding on to and haven't forgiven ourselves with. It's just there to show us how to deeper connect with ourselves. It's kind of like I'm always reminding myself of so much, like so much. But one thing I'm also always reminding myself of is when you point a finger out, there's three fingers pointing right back at you. And it's a really gentle reminder where if you think that it's somebody else. The hard truth is realizing that it's actually you. That's a really hard truth. I know it's a really hard truth to realize, like, wait, hold on. That was me that brought that upon myself. That was me that was actually projecting that out. That was me that was seeing that energy in this person. It's because I have that somewhere within me that I haven't placed attention to. Could be our shadow side or whatever it is. It's a hard truth, but at the same time, it's so freeing. It's such a freeing truth. Because then you realize, like, hey, hold on, the power is in my hands. If I want to change something, I don't have to point the finger for some and wait for somebody else to change it. I can change it. I can change it. It's kind of like another reminder too that I really honed in on years ago because ever since I was little, I've said it before, ever since I was little, I always wanted to change the world and and make the world better and just change the world until I realized, like, wait, hold on. I don't know where I heard it. I don't know where I listened. I don't know. I can't remember years ago where it smacked me in the face to realize the world doesn't need any changing. All that needs to change is my perception of the world. All that needs to change is how I'm viewing the world, how I'm feeling about the world. If I see so many problems, it's because the problems are starting in my own mind, in my own heart, in my own spirit. But when I switch the perception and realize that and change that within me, then I see the world in a whole other way and see all its beauty that it really is. The world doesn't need changing. It's us that needs changing if we think that the world needs to change. It's us that needs to change. The world was created perfect. It was created perfect. And it's kind of like the same, it reminds me too. Nothing changes if nothing changes. But where does that start? With us. We can't expect everything to change and us not make any changes. Then nothing's changed. Nothing changes until we change. Because actually the world is constantly changing. But we might see the changes, but we might not feel the changes as much if we're still staying in the same energy. It's kind of like another reminder. The same energy that caused the problem won't solve the problem. The same way of thinking that created the problem will not create the solution. You have to change the thought process. You have to change your way of thinking. You have to change your perception of it to be able to find a solution for it. Because the change in the perception is the solution. The change in doing something different is the ripple effect that's needed to create something new. It's kind of just like all these brilliant geniuses who have created and invented all these things. In order to invent something new, you have to create something different from what has been created before. Because nothing changes if nothing changes. If you create something that's the same as someone else's creation, you didn't change anything. And all these great inventors, they did something completely different. They thought in a completely different way. You can't create something new thinking the same way that another creator thought, because then you're going to come out with the same creation. Because nothing changes if nothing changes. And I don't know how I got to that, coming from the tug of war and us controlling things. But that's also everything is connected. Everything is connected. The self-love to it is really connected. Because we also have to love ourselves so much to be willing to change things for the better, for the greater good, for ourselves. If you don't love yourself enough to make changes that are going to improve your life, are going to give you a greater reality of life, if you don't love yourself enough to make those changes, then you're going to be stuck on both ends of that rope, pulling that rope in tug of war. You're going to be your own worst enemy, because you're not being your greatest cheerleader, cheering yourself on, knowing and trusting that you can do that thing, that you can create that change, that you can begin something different, that you can begin new, fresh. Just like every day is a new day. Every day is a new shine that the sun emits. The birds don't fly in the same exact place that they flew before. It's kind of like running on a treadmill. I heard this in a video the other day on a podcast. It's like running on a treadmill and then one day waking up and realizing that you haven't gone anywhere. You've been in the same place. And that ties to the self-love, loving yourself enough to realize that if I continue running in place in this treadmill, then I'm going to realize one day that I haven't been fully living my life. 28. You have to love yourself enough to create these changes, even if they're uncomfortable. They're going to be uncomfortable. That's no, like there's no way that it's not going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable, but you have to love yourself enough to stand through that uncomfortness, because you want to give yourself this great feeling of feeling good, feeling fulfilled in life, creating these positive changes for yourself, not for anybody else, for yourself. And it's not for anyone to go out and do it for us. Nobody can run that treadmill but you. And just as nobody can run that treadmill but you, nobody can get off that treadmill but you and decide to actually run towards something, or walk towards something, or sprint towards it, or walk or crawl towards it, but you. So I say this whole thing to remind you to not be your worst enemy, to not try to pressure things, to not try to control things, to not try to set these expectations for others. And also, not even set expectations for ourselves, to be honest. Allow yourself to just be. We are human beings. We're not human doers. We're human beings. We came to be and stand and ground and fly and run in our truth of being. We didn't come here to control things. We didn't come here to try to figure everything out either. We didn't come here to control others. We didn't come here to control anything or have dominance over anything in this life other than to know thyself, to master thyself, to know the I am, which is that I am. We didn't come here to be playing tug of war with anything or anyone, especially ourselves. And we definitely did not come to not love ourselves. You begin to love yourself truly and watch the different decisions you choose to make. Watch what things you choose to not put up with anymore. Watch how differently you choose to eat. And so I can tell also by my choices of what I would eat before that I didn't really care too much about what I was putting into my body because I was lacking that self-love for me. Now, ask me enough if I'll go putting certain things into my temple. I would not, because I love myself. Because I know how valuable this vessel is to me. Because I cherish me feeling good and me being healthy and me feeling healthy. Because I love myself, I don't put just anything into my body. I hardly put things into my body unless it's alkaline, electric foods that are alive, that are holding electricity, because I am an electromagnetic being, just as we all are. You begin to love yourself and watch how differently you begin to live your life. Watch the different choices you begin to make. Watch how everything changes, because nothing changes if nothing changes. If there's one thing that you can change or that you can improve, is your self-love. Start there. 3333. Start there. You don't have to start in this high, extravagant, difficult thing. Just start. Every day when you rise, in the rising, go look into the mirror. Go look into your eyes and tell yourself, I love you. Over and over and over. Tell yourself, I love you. And the more you do it every rising, the more you'll begin to feel it and believe it. And when other people look into your eyes, they'll see that reflection that you love yourself, and you emanate that to them too. That love that you have for you is the love that you have for others too. I began doing that a few years ago, and I realized how much it really helped me so much. How much it really helped me through my journey of self-love. And it can get emotional. But it could be everything that you need to hear. The relationship is for us to be The relationship of our life is our relationship with ourselves. It's not about you going and being in a relationship with someone else. Yes, that's a beautiful part about it. But it begins with us being in a beautiful, harmonious, divine relationship with ourselves. Tell yourself you love you. Treat yourself. Take care of yourself. Spoil yourself. Surprise yourself. And watch how everything else begins to also treat you that way too. I said it in another video, and I'm going to continuously say it again. It's not treat others how you want others to treat you. I realize that doesn't really resonate, at least with me. What I'm feeling resonate is treat yourself how you want others to treat you. Teach other people how to treat you by how you treat yourself, how you value yourself, how you honor yourself, how you don't please others for the sake of their peace, and how you please yourself to honor your own peace within you. If I'm at peace, I can be at peace with others. When I'm not at peace and I'm just trying to peace to people peace instead of people please, people peace, and it disturbs my peace in some way because I'm trying to keep them in peace, it does not feel good at all. It doesn't feel good at all. But when I'm at peace, and when you do that, you're not able to be at peace with others either. So if you're at peace, you're able to give other people peace. When you love yourself, you're able to give others love. It's kind of like also, and last little reminder, it's kind of also like when you board a plane, they tell you to first, before helping anyone else, to first put your mask on, your oxygen mask on, and then you can help others. You cannot help someone else if you haven't helped yourself. The more that you help yourself and you give to yourself and you love yourself, the more that you're able to help and give that to others. You cannot give something to someone else if you haven't given it to yourself. And that's something that I really needed to also learn and embody, because I was always wanting to help and give and do for others and take care of others. But I needed to take care of me so that I can give my full to someone else, to other people, to other things, to other circumstances or experiences or whatever it is. Because the more I gave, the more I took from me. The more I poured into someone's glass, the more I realized, man, I'm freaking thirsty. And if I die of of dehydration, how can I go and help any other person after that? If I really want to help and be of service to others, I need to be of service to myself. If I want to help others to be healthy, I need to be healthy so that I can guide others into health. I can't be trying to help somebody be healthy and I'm over here all sick. How does that make any sense? I can't be trying to help somebody realize their truth and their peace and self-love if I'm in a chaotic energy. And if I'm lacking love within my own self. So always, first and always, give to yourself. Pour in your cup. Make sure you're quenched. And then you can give to others more peacefully, more freely, more harmoniously. Not self-sabotaging yourself. So, this is a huge, gentle reminder with a lot of reminders within it. And I know whatever's meant to resonate with you did already. So I remind you gently, I remind you peacefully, and I remind you with me embodying self-love too, to don't forget about you. Love yourself and watch how others' love shifts towards you. 40-40. As always, much peace, much love.